Hi guys, welcome back. I was going to do a tour of all my room boxes, but I thought it would be fun to just show you one a week. This is the box that I made for my youngest daughter. She's a hippie, Grateful Deadhead just like her daddy. And I'll pan back because it's done in a cigar box. This cigar box was owned by my husband, and I was not allowed to touch it. I wasn't even allowed to dust it. He loved this box. It's going to my youngest daughter as a gift from me and I guess from her daddy. Today we're going to review pencil strokes, and I know I've done this in the past. For me to be able to move on with as many new followers that I've had over the last 2 years, I need to get a good foundation going. So we're going to have to review the strokes, because with these strokes, we're going to move on to some much more complicated textures that I have in the works. I saw something in the Facebook group, and I thought, well, if one person is having this problem, a lot of people are going to be having this problem. I've always done videos like that when I saw things that were necessary. And I really think that before I start doing any sort of drawing or crafting or anything, I've done this video in other forms in the past, but it always helps to have a refresher, and it never fails. It'll always help someone. Today we're going to discuss strokes, and I know a lot of people are going to go, oh no, not that subject again. I have a lot of new people on here, and if you are here, you're here to learn art, and it never hurts. So we're going to go right from the beginning with this, and I'm going to teach you when to use certain strokes and when not to. The first stroke we're going to do is a simple crosshatch. Now, you might not think it's important, but it is the single most important stroke for you to get and to do and to get right. And it's not even that hard. Crosshatch is used for everything. You're going to take your pencil, a sharp pencil. Working with a dull pencil is a waste of time. You're not going to get your strokes looking good. Now, even in your coloring books, it doesn't matter what your sketch is. That's all coloring books are sketches. You're going to take your pencil. You're going to hold your pencil not down here. If you are holding your pencil here, you're a kindergartner. Artists don't hold pencils down here. It makes your pencil stroke too thick and too hard. You're going to hold your pencil up here. I sometimes hold my pencil back here, and you will see artists that hold their pencil in the back of the pencil. Where you hold your pencil is simple physics. You cannot press that hard when you hold your pencil back here. So this is where you hold your pencil. You're going to take your pencil, you're going to go down and stroke, and stroke, and stroke, and stroke. Now, I am not doing this. That is scribbling. That's what a 5-year-old does. That's what you did when you colored when you were a kid. Using colored pencils. You're now adults. You're going to use colored pencils correctly. Hold it here, and you're going to go down, stroke, and stroke, and stroke, and stroke. Now, when you get really good and fast, this isn't even going to make sense to you anymore. There should be no rounded edges, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute. Why those rounded edges are going to ruin your picture. Stroke and stroke and stroke and stroke and stroke and stroke and stroke. Now, I just did a bottom layer. It did not take me any longer to do than that, or any different type of effort. It's just habit. Down, up, and around. Down, up, and around. You don't have to lift your pencil up high. It just needs to be off the page by the time you get to the bottom. Okay? Now, crosshatch it. Tilt your page. That's all you got to do. It doesn't have to be much. Your second layer. Stroke and stroke and stroke and stroke, so that you are forming like threads. Now you have 2 layers down. You're going to do a third layer. Maybe you'll change your color. You're going to do a third layer. If you have these little circles at the bottom, you won't have good edges. See what a big difference this makes? Well, this is how you get a smoother outcome, because now I can go and I can crosshatch it onto another layer and the other way. Now, I don't turn my page, not normally, but I do change my hand. And that's just a matter of getting you comfortable. Now, if I had this and I was going like this, and then I wanted another layer, look at the color difference you're going to get. You're not going to get flat and smooth. Now, there's always going to be a little bit of an overline, but it's not going to be anything like you do if you have this. So this is what cross-hatching is. And you can keep doing and going and going. Nice and smooth. If you sit there and give the excuse, oh, I have a heavy hand, you're not doing it right. I can't hold my pencil back there. It's not comfortable. Get comfortable. It's like playing the piano and playing the wrong keys and expecting it to come out like Chopin. It's just not going to happen. Hold your pencil correctly, put it down onto the paper correctly, and then it becomes natural. You think to yourself, I'm an artist now. I'm not just a person coloring in a coloring book. And if you are just coloring in a coloring book, why are you looking on YouTube for coloring instruction? This is the proper way to do it. The next thing you're going to do is a blending stroke. This is just similar. Blending, you're just going in, and you might want to get another color on top, and then take your first color and go in. Now, if you could see, there'll be the two colors peeking out from underneath each other. I may look to you as if I'm not lifting because I go really quick, but I am lifting on every stroke I make. Now what you're going to do is a circle. Now your circles do not look like this. And what the circular is going to look like is small. And it's used to bring down two colors together. Okay? It creates a third color. If you are going too hard with these layers, and let me get harder, okay? And then hard again. It's going to be like trudging through mud. You're not going to get the smooth blending that you want. And what you're going to end up doing is destroying tooth. Tooth are the little bumps in your paper that look like this, that are, I don't think microscopic is the word for, but magnified. Your tooth on the paper will look like this. It's not a smooth surface. The more tooth, the higher the ridges when it's put under a magnifying glass. The lighter the layer, the less congestion. The less congestion in the tooth of the paper, the more layers you can put in, the more details you can add. If you go too hard and too quick, or your paper is cheap and it taps down really easily, you're only going to get a few layers. Having good tooth is one of the reasons I enjoy coloring on particle board, basswood. Basswood doesn't tap down, so you could add 100 layers to basswood and it'll come out beautiful, and until you really want to tap down those layers, it'll stay that way. But I mean, doing it on basswood is sometimes not practical, and it's just an opinion of mine as what I enjoy coloring on, or doing pencil art on. I like basswood. Other people, no artist will say use cheap paper, and there are plenty of good papers out there too. But tooth is what you want to think to preserve, just like your carpet at home. You don't want to tap down mud into your carpet. You want it light in there so that the particles can be brushed away. The next stroke I'm going to show you is a must if you're going to do hair, fur, highlights, metal, feathers. You have to have this stroke in your little bag of strokes. My electric pencil sharpener did not survive. I have to get myself a new one. Okay, the next one you're going to down and flick, down and flick, down and flick. As you're flicking, you're raising your pencil. So it's not, you see the difference in what the point on the end looks like? One comes to a taper and one ends flat. Hairs always taper. Okay, so you want that. And it's down and flick, down and flick, down and flick. Now, the better you get at it, and it's been a long time since I've been practicing my strokes, you won't have such a dark line down here. You want to get it so that it's kind of smooth. Yeah, that one's perfect. These are not perfect. That's a simple tapered stroke. Now you're going to do that with hair, fur. Look how much nicer hair will come out if you're doing this stroke on it than if I was doing this. Which one looks like hair? The tapered stroke. And it's a matter of muscle. You're going to learn to automatically do it, and it's going to be no harder than doing this than it is to do the proper stroke. Again, pianists have to learn scale. You guys have to learn strokes. Just by changing up how you are holding the pencil and laying down will make a huge difference. Now, when you get really good at it, there's something called the double taper. I don't even know if I could do it anymore. It's, you start up high, you go down and you flick. Let me see if I can get one. Okay, this one worked. A taper at this end and a taper at that end. So your stroke is going to look like this. It's not the easiest stroke to do. I sometimes don't even attempt to do it, especially if I'm going fast. Sometimes it works out that I get one. Yeah, there they are. Just takes a little time for it to come back. And what do you have there? Individual hairs. So being able to control that pencil will again make all the difference in the world to your final picture. Now, another tip is never do circular without having something underneath it. Now, you may be able to blend some of the upper layers by doing one layer of crosshatch and then circular. I sometimes do that, and I see a lot of artists doing that too. That's okay. The last layer of everything that you're going to do, you're going to want to do something called burnishing. Now, sometimes burnishing happens naturally as of the course of using your paper. That's when you have tapped down your entire allotment of tooth, and what you get at the end, after you apply a little bit of pressure in a circular motion, what you get at the end is going to be like a shiny, I don't know if it's going to pick up in the lighting, but it's going to look very shiny. That's, you're done with your paper. If you spray, sometimes there's some fixative sprays out there. It will give you a little bit of extra tooth if you need some sort of artificial something. The very last stroke I'm going to show you is stippling. Stippling gives you all the texture. It's not something to ignore. It goes slow, but it's very satisfying once you're done. So say you have, let me get a layer. I'll use this layer, not waste time. Here you have a whole bunch of layers down. Now I want to start putting in some texture into this. So I'm going to get out a darker color than this. And I did have sepia out on my desk, which I don't anymore. Oh, there it is, across the room, on the floor. So the next thing you're going to do is dots. And I'm going to do it over here first. They're little detail marks, just like that. And if you do it long enough, you're going to get texture. Now, if you take a closer look at this, if you want to get darker in one area, you put more pencil dots or pencil marks in that area. If you want it lighter, less. Don't be in a rush with your details. They will work out at the end. Patience. This is the slowest medium that you can choose to do. If you don't have patience, your pictures don't develop. And what you want to do with colored pencils is have them develop from the bottom up. You want to have nice shadows. You want to have controlled strokes. And that's going to be the difference between you being a person who picks up a cheap coloring book in the store and those of you who want to learn how to eventually do your own artwork, because the sketches are the easy thing. This is where the real work happens. And with this, I'm going to say goodnight because I'm about to run out of battery. And I want to have this out by tomorrow. After this video, we will go back to the other videos that I was working on. I have one more to get out before, but then I have some texture videos and I have some lighting videos, and they're all in the works. They're all coming. So I will see you guys in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.